Actually, from the smallest thing you can do in custom paint using Flutter will progress to much more advanced stuff. Now, if you have a question, you just need to signal by raising your hand. So when you raise your hand, I will give you the floor to ask question. So if there's anything, don't wait for me to finish the whole lecture to ask your question. If there's something you want to confirm, you can just raise your hand. I'll give you the audience and then you ask your question and we'll progress. That's how the class is going to be. Okay, so I can see somebody raising their hand. So yeah, go on, Kelvin, go on, ask your question.
Um, Based on the painting, it's just kind of something like more complex and it's kind of more confusing. So I will need for you to elaborate more because it seems like the screen looks more confusing. I can't really see a lot of things, sha, but I was still need to understand based on the
You,
painting of what you are doing.
you can't see a lot
I
of
think
things.
I'm
Where
clear,
are you
right?
talking about? Where? You said you can't see a lot of things, right? Hello.
Yes.
So where exactly are you say? Do you mean you can't see a lot of
Yeah,
things?
I'm here.
Here, we've not started yet. I'm just giving an intro.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I've not even said anything about what we are here for. I'm just giving an intro to what we are here for. You will soon understand what I mean. Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right. Perfect. So how we're going to work or how we're going to do this is that I'm going to start with the Flutter. I always reference this place whenever I'm looking at something. You can see this is the Flutter documentation. Is there someone else? Kelvin, you can lower your hand. Okay. So you can see this is the Flutter documentation here. This is the Flutter documentation, and I always reference this place. And I will advise as a developer, you need to come here sometimes and just read about any widget or whatever you want to do. You can just read about it here. Then this is my sketch pad. So since we are going to be painting some things, I'm going to come here. So if there's anything I need, Kelvin, do you have a question? Kelvin, hello, Kelvin, do you have a question? Okay, I want to believe that that's a mistake. So this is my sketch pad and this is the Flutter where we'll be writing the actual code. I've not created the project yet, so we are going to do everything together and you would understand how it works. Okay. So first off, I'm going to read this. It says the interface used by custom paint in the widgets library and render custom paint. That is what the custom painter class is. And then it goes on to say to implement a custom painter, either subclass or implement this interface to define your custom paint delegate. Custom painter subclasses must implement the paint and the should repaint methods and may optionally also implement the heat test and should rebuild semantics method and the semantics builder getter. So this paragraph here, we are going to see it in our code when we start. So right now I'm going to create a new this is I'm going to create a new Flutter project and I'm going to start with the custom paint, the simplest thing you can do in a custom paint. So when we talk about custom paint, very simply, if I want to draw something like this in Flutter, let's say I have this UI and I'm meant to draw a triangle, for instance, or maybe if I want to draw a rectangle in my Flutter project, or I want to go ahead and draw a square in a Flutter project I have, or I want to draw a circle. Let's say I have a circle and I want to draw a circle, a rectangle. Any of these shapes are like the simplest things you can do with the custom painter. So there is no particular widget that can give you this. Okay, maybe a container can give you this rectangle here. A container can give you this rectangle. You can have a circular border shape that will give you this circle, but there is nothing like a triangle. So imagine you want to have a triangle, something triangular in your application. How do you go about it? So that is what the custom painter will do. So basically, it gives you the power to paint. You can imagine a painter that wants to paint a house. You have your canvas, or an artist that wants to draw. So Flutter offers you your canvas where you draw. So custom painter actually, what it does is that it uses the canvas API, and then you are given the power as the artist to draw whatever you want to draw on that canvas. So if I want to draw something that looks like this, it can be anything at all. If for any reason I want to draw something as complex as this shape in my Flutter project, so you can see the way I just drew this is the canvas. This whole place is the canvas that this sketch IO offers, and with this canvas I can draw something like this. So what it means in real sense when we bring it to Flutter is that I can also use code to replicate this shape, because we are given that power in the custom paint. So let me not talk so much, and let's get to business, where we'll use this custom paint. So I'm going to just open a very simple project. So I've created the folder, or rather I've created the project, and you can see it's just the normal Flutter counter app. Okay, no, I want to run without debugging. Perfect. So while it is launching, so I think I've explained to us in layman term what this custom painter does and what we use it for in Flutter. Why do we even need a custom painter? Why? So I think I've done justice to that. I've explained why we do it and how we do it. So when the project launch, I'm going to show us how we are going to do all of these things that I've explained. I told us that we can draw something as simple as a circle. I told us that we can draw a rectangle. I told us that we can draw a square or a triangle, provided we are using our custom painter. We have that power. It has given us the canvas. So the only thing there is how much. I think we can even try to, while we are doing the thing, we can try to recreate some of these shapes that are here. I can see a couple of them, so we'll try to recreate some of them. And then there's one thing I do tell people in this custom painter of a thing. You may not even have the whole idea in your head when you start out to paint. So what it just means is that while you're painting, you can say, okay, oh, this is what I need to do and this is what I don't need to do, provided you understand the base of what you're doing. Okay, that will help you to know how to paint your stuff. So the project has launched, and I am going to clear out most of these things, and then we will now begin cooking some paints, and we will see how it goes. I'm going to just clear out all this. Okay, or let me just remove this whole widget. So you can see there is nothing in the project. This is the normal Flutter run app. This is our material app. Then the home parameter is returning let's return a canvas app, or rather a paint. Let's return a paint app. Okay, so we are going to proceed to use a stateful widget to our paint app. So let's have our scaffold here, and then in the app bar we'll have an app bar whose title is going to be a text that says custom painter, or rather custom paint. We'll remove this const, and then the body, we can now have a center. Okay, so this is our custom paint class. Now first off, let's read this from the official documentation again. So it says, to implement a custom painter, either subclass or implement this interface to define your custom paint delegate. So every custom painter, this is a custom painter, so there is a widget called custom paint. Okay, so the custom paint the custom paint so if you can see this first sentence here, it says the custom painter class is the interface used by custom paint. So custom paint, whenever you want to have a custom painter in your class, you must, it is a must, you must have a custom paint, because the custom painter is what will provide us with the APIs, is what will provide us with the canvas. But for you to have that canvas, for you to have all of those things, you must have your custom paint, because this custom painter is just an interface, but this custom paint is a widget. So that is why here we can have a child and we'll say custom paint. You see, this is a widget. If you hover on it, you will see where it says it creates a widget that delegates its painting. So, and you can also see that it is found in the Flutter src widgets. So you can see that this custom paint is a widget, but this custom painter, which provides us with all those APIs, all those canvases for painting, is just an interface. And for us to use this custom painter, for us to be able to use it, we need to either implement it or we extend it. So the English here says you either subclass or implement this interface, but most often at times we will just have to extend it. That is this subclass. When here in Flutter uses extend. So if you want to have a subclass of an object, you just extend that object. So this custom paint, like I've said over and over again, is a widget. So the custom paint is a widget, while the custom painter is just an interface that provides us with all those APIs for painting and all those canvas for painting. So I'll go ahead and I'll have a class. I'll call it example painter. It doesn't matter the name, you are just creating a class. So we are going to extend the custom painter. Okay, and then you do this. Now VS Code gives us the linting in VS Code, and then it also helps us with this quick fix. So all you just need to do is, when you press on the quick fix, you will see create two missing overrides. So I'm going to click on it, and then I will set this to always repaint. I will explain what it means in a minute. So with this now, we have created our custom painter. So what it means is that this our example painter is extending the custom painter, which is just an interface. Now if you look at the two methods of this custom painter class, you will see that you have a paint. Okay, that is the first function or method, if you would. So that is the first method here. So the first one is the paint, and that is what gives us that canvas. Remember, from our from our introduction, I told us that everything here is the canvas. So if I wanted to draw something here, so from this point to this point is our canvas. This side widget is not part of our canvas. So if I want to draw, I'm talking about from this point where my cursor is, here, here, and here. The whole of that interface is our canvas, and that is exactly what the canvas, this canvas. So you will imagine it that this canvas is this same canvas you're seeing. So it gives you the ability to create anything you want to create. That is what the canvas does. Then you can also see that there is a size object. So this size object is defined by the boundaries holding this custom paint widget. I'll come again. I'll come again. This size object here is defined by the boundaries of this custom paint object here. So if we wrap this custom paint with a size box and give that size box a height and width of 100, that height and width of 100 will get passed to this sized box, this sized object here, and I will demonstrate. Then that is for the paint. You can see the second method or function, if you would. It says should repaint. So what should repaint does is that it is trying to tell you, it's trying to you are asking the Flutter engine, should I repaint? You are telling the Flutter engine whether or not it should repaint this custom painter every single time there is a reload. So if it is true, obviously it's answered the questions. You are saying, is asking you a question, should I repaint? And then you are setting it to true, meaning that every time the widget tree rebuilds, you should repaint. That's what this true means. But if I set it to false, if I decide to set it to false, I'm telling it to ignore any kind of changes in the widget tree. So if the widget tree rebuilds, let it not rebuild this my example painter. Now someone will asking, why do we even need to know whether we should rebuild or not? Now the importance of rebuilding is that there may be, you may paint a very expensive you may paint something very expensive, okay, and you don't want this particular expensive paint that you did to be rebuilding every time the widget tree rebuilds. You don't want it, but you want it to only rebuild only, let's say, if the color, let's say the color was originally red, and maybe somehow you said let the color be blue after 3 seconds. You want it to rebuild only when that color changes. That is when you can now do some logic. So you can now say, if old delegate, if old delegate, you can say, you can make some logic. If old delegate is equal to maybe some parameters of the new delegate, you can now say let it repaint. If not, let it keep false. So those are the kind of reasons why we have this should repaint. I think I've exhausted everything. If not everything, I think I've stressed much on this custom painter. So we are going to move on to, doing something much more practical. And remember, I told us that the size object here is gotten from this custom paint here. So if I decide to print, if I come here and print size, okay, if I print size, and then in this custom painter, if I hover on it, you're going to see that it takes some parameters. You can see there is a custom painter here, which is this your painter. There is a foreground painter, there is a child. So what it means is that you can also have a child. So if you want to have a child, you can have a child, and then maybe my autocomplete is not working. Let me stop this thing. My autocomplete is not working, and I need it because it is slowing me down. let me close this file, or rather close the window entirely. I need the autocomplete to be working, so I don't need to. But so far, do we have any question? Is there anybody that has any question so far before we continue with anyone? Okay, nobody. So let me relaunch. I stopped because my autocomplete was not working. I don't know. I've noticed that thing before. Okay, I can see Solace. Okay, go on, ask your question.
Okay, just your explanations on the size, like
Mm.
the you mentioned 100 by 100. I'm just trying to understand what that means, like
Okay, okay.
size and canvas. I understand that the canvas is the space where you actually draw,
Yeah, of course.
but then how does the size come in?
Okay, okay. I will explain again. So, like I mentioned before, so you already answered the one of canvas. Yes, the canvas is the place where you draw your actual paint. But then this size, what what it helps us with is that it helps us to get the particular height and width of your canvas. So imagine you're painting, imagine that, imagine as an artist you want to paint Mona Lisa. How do you know the head of your Mona Lisa should start here? You can see how my mouse moved. How do you know that the head, let's assume that let me let somebody in. So let's assume that this is the head of Mona Lisa. You want to paint the head of Mona Lisa. How do you know that this is where the head should start and not, I mean, the smaller one? How do you know that this is where the head of Mona Lisa should start and that it shouldn't extend? Because you can see, let's assume that these two are the heads of Mona Lisa. You can see that this bigger one now, is far away from the canvas. I can't even see the head properly. And that is because it's possible I don't even know where the beginning of my canvas is. Okay, I don't know if you're flowing. I don't know where the beginning of my canvas is. I can't even tell what's the size of my canvas. Okay, so I want you to just put that imagination in your head. So if you don't know that size, if you don't know the size of your canvas, there is no how you will know where you will start painting from. Imagine that this dumb artist that painted this head doesn't know where the canvas started from. It's possible that you only be seeing the hands of Mona Lisa stretching out from this place. But this very intelligent artist that knows where his canvas started from, he knows the bounds of his canvas. He will know that, okay, oh, the head of the Mona Lisa should start here, so that I can uh, I can know where to start from. So what that size does is that it tells you the boundaries of your canvas. I don't know. So in simple terms, in a way all of us will understand that size, because the size object. If you look at the size object, you can see that it has things like height. You can see there is a getter for width and there is a getter for height. So those are the two basic things in a sized object. I did not say that they are the only things, but I said they are the two basic things in a size object: the width and the height. So once you have the information about the height and the width of your canvas, of course you will know where to start painting from. But imagine you don't have such information. How would you know where to start painting from? How would you know where to put the head of your Mona Lisa? I don't know if I answered that question. Solace.
Yes, you did. Yes,
All
you
right,
did.
all right, perfect. So let us
Thank you
proceed. Yeah,
very much.
let us proceed now. So like I was saying before, my autocomplete stopped working. So I said there is a painter, there is a foreground painter, and then there is a size, and then it's complete. I don't usually worry about these ones. Maybe you can go as much as trying to understand what they do. but for now I'm just going to focus on this painter and foreground painter. Okay, so this painter, you can see it takes an object, and the object it takes is a custom painter. And and as you may have it due to inheritance, this example painter I created is also, you can see it extends a custom painter. So this my example painter is a subclass of the custom painter. So I can have an example painter here. Okay, it fits perfectly. Okay, it fits perfectly. So this my foreground painter, I've set it to an example painter. Now I want us to observe something. Let me reload. Did you see that here I said I should let me print the size of my let me print the size of this canvas, even though this my phone, the size of this my phone now, there is no how you will tell me that this from here to here is 0 and then the height is 0. It's not possible. But you can see that the size, this is visible. I believe it is visible because I can see it. So you can see that the size is 0 comma 0. So you have something like this. You have something that looks like this size, or maybe I should use notes. Okay, you have something that looks like this size, and you have 0 comma 0. You have something like this. Now this 0 here is the width. So it is width comma height. So if you see 0 comma 0, it means that the width of that object is 0, and then the height is 0. So that's the information this is giving us. And you will be wondering, does it mean that I don't have any width and I don't have any height? No. Yes, that's what it actually means, because you've not said what size the custom paint should occupy. So if I start painting now, if I let's say I want to draw a a a car. If I want to draw a car now, even if I finish writing all the codes to draw a car in this place, it is not going to show on this application. Why? Because the size is 0 comma 0. Now you can imagine something that the width and the height is 0. What does that mean? It means it's so tiny. I don't even know how to explain, but it's so small that it won't even come out because there is no height or width. I want you to understand the logic I'm using. So what it means is that there is no height or width. So what to solve that, you can either pass a size to this your custom painter. You can do it. So if I put a size here and put a size of, let's say, 100 comma 100, you can see now that this size has been updated. So it was previously showing 0 comma 0, that is the height and width of 0 comma 0, but now it's showing what, 100 comma 100, which tells us that the size, the width of our custom painter has been updated. So if I now draw something, it will be constrained within a width and height of 100 comma 100. That is a width of 100 and a height of 100. So just imagine it that this is our canvas that Flutter has provided us with, and this width is 100, this height is 100. So we have the whole of this place to draw for ourselves. So if I decide to be a stupid artist and start drawing somewhere out of the bound, you would see that the head of my Mona Lisa will not show. I hope it makes sense. So that is the essence of this size here. But most times, I personally, I don't use this size. So what I like to do is I like to wrap this custom paint in a sized box and then give it a height of 100 and a width, a height of 100 and a width of 100. So if I do this, let me make it 200 so that you will see that it actually is. So you can see that the width of this my size box is 200 and the height of this my size box is 100. Automatically, this my custom paint will adjust to that particular constraint. So you can see that immediately it adjusted to that constraint. The custom painter that I have here now gave us a canvas that has a width of 200 and a height of 100. So this is what I like to do. So you know, programming is all about preference. So if you believe that you want to be putting size and put there is no, it doesn't make you a lesser developer or a much better developer. They are both the same. So but personally I like to do this because this is the one I learned with. Okay, let me let somebody in. I hope we are all following. So let's proceed. So let's say I want to paint the simplest thing in Flutter. Let's say I want to paint this let's say I want to paint this circle. Let's try a circle. I want to paint this circle. So because we have the canvas, and this canvas already, it gives us all those, I mean this custom painter gives us all those APIs that we need to paint. So I can come here and I will just say canvas dot draw circle. Very simple. Canvas dot draw circle. It will ask me what is the offset of your circle. I can say offset dot 0. And then what is the radius of your circle. You know that if this is a circle and then the radius, this the center of the circle. So let's say I have the center somewhere here. Let's say this is where I have the center. Okay, and already we know that from what I explained. Okay, I think I will clear everything here. That will make more sense. Let me just do Ctrl Z. I've not used this thing so much, but let me just explain by sketching. So imagine I have a circle like this. Okay, and from what I did, let me make this thing 200 by 200. So from what I did, I already have a canvas like this. Okay, I have a canvas like this, that here is 200, the width is 200, and then the height is also 200. Okay, so those are the two things I have, a height and width of 200. Now this is my painter. So this is my the canvas API. I hope we are following. What's happening now? Did they open gate? So this is the canvas API, and it has given me a constraint of 200 by 200. Okay, that's the size that I put here. Now I want to draw a circle inside that inside this my canvas. I know I'm not very good at drawing. Let me use a shape so that um yeah. Okay, yeah, perfect. So the canvas has given me a shape like this, and it is a perfect square of 200. So the from here to here is 200, and then from here to here is also 200. Now I want to draw a circle. I want to draw a perfect circle inside this my canvas. Okay, what you understand is the middle of the circle, so from here to here should be like 100. That's what it will be, right? It should be 100, because you know that the radius of the circle is from the center of the circle to the circumference. So if the radius of the circle is 100, that means I will come here and I will make the radius 100. Okay, that's what I will do. Now I also need, if you look at the parameters, there is also a paint. So this paint is actually what will give life to our drawing. So imagine this Mona Lisa picture that I'm trying to draw, and somehow the paint is the same color as this my background. There is no how you will see. What did they just say? Your call ends in 10 minutes. Wow, that is not funny. So I'm going to this is a problem. This is a big problem. Well, I'm going to get another link and I will share because I don't know what we'll do. So by 7:58 I'll drop another link, and then I hope that all of us join within 2 minutes, because me, I'm not paying. I don't have money. Okay, let's by 7:58 I'm going to drop the second link here so that all of us will join there. Please, I didn't know that it will happen like this. Okay, so we have this is 100 and this is sorry, this is 200 and this is also 200. Okay, so we want to draw this circle, but imagine that I want to draw this circle and there is no color to it. There is no how you even know that I'm drawing a circle. So that is what this paint will do. So we are going to create a paint object. We are going to create a paint object and then we'll call it a paint, right, like this. Okay, we'll call it a paint. So with this now, I should be able to have a circle. You can see I've drawn my first circle in this project, in this our tutorial. But this paint is looking very very dull. So to this paint, I can add a color, and maybe I like blue, so I'll use a blue color. So you can see, so this paint object is, just imagine it like your paint. It's actually your paint. So if you want a blue color, you just set it to blue. If you want a red color, you set it to red. Now sometimes you will see some people do something like this. You will see some people do something like this. You will see some people do something like this, which is also very very correct. They will do paint the color is equal to colors the red. So these two things are very very correct. I've forgotten the name that they call this syntax and that, but they are both the same thing. So they are both doing the same thing. Doing this and doing dot dot color equal to colors dot red is the same thing. No one makes you a much better developer. So whichever one you decide to use, that's what you are going to use. So also now imagine that I wanted this this my small circle that I've drawn to look something like this, like not to have some spacing. Maybe I want to draw like a ring. So inside here I can go ahead and do dot style. I will say is equal to painting style dot stroke. So you can see that my circle is now thin. So I can set the width. I can set the stroke width to like 10 or 20. So you can see I have something almost similar to this. If I want it to be much bigger, maybe I can come here and change my constraints to something like this, 300 by 300. But you see, shifting away from what we have, and we are going to still fix that. We're going to still fix that. But I'm just trying to tell you that these are like the different ways you can play around with the paint. So if you wanted a blue color, if you wanted it to be stroke, if you wanted the width to be thicker, these are the ways you can go about it. Okay, and we've just drawn our first circle. So we just made use of the canvas API. We told it the offset we wanted. We said offset dot 0, and we gave it a radius of 100. But now, as you may imagine, this 100 is fixed. Okay, and you may also be saying we've not even used this size that this thing provided us with. Now let's go back to it. Remember that from this center to here is 100, and that is why we put 100 when this thing was 200 by 200. But now these are shape, these are paint has changed from 200 by 200 to 300 by 300, and you can see it's still maintaining the same 100, a radius of 100. So to make it much more dynamic, what we can do is we actually know that the radius of that circle is half of the height, or rather half of the diameter. No need to speak big English. The radius of a circle is half of the diameter, and the diameter of this circle is 200 for this instance we gave. So instead of putting a static 100 here, we can just say size dot width over 2. So what this thing will do is that when this shape changes to 100, 100, when the change changes to 100, 100, you will see that this paint will readjust to half of the diameter, which is 50. Also, when the shape changes to something like 200, 200, you will also see that the shape itself will readjust to the size of the constraint that is coming. Now if I make this thing a container and I color this container to be colors dot let's make it black, you can see that there is something wrong with this paint. You can see where this thing is, our canvas is, but then our paint is being drawn somewhere else, because what we wanted was for the circle to fit perfectly inside the canvas, but somehow it is going away. Okay, you can see that somehow it is going away. It doesn't mean that we are wrong with what we are doing. No, it only means that we've not correctly done what we need to do. And if you want to see that, you just have to join the second link I will share. Okay, so I'm going to create an instant meeting. I'm going to create it and I will share the link in this same place. So just bear with me, okay? So if you're interested and you want to see more, just come and join me here. I will let this person in so that they will see this message. So please, you guys should come over to the other side and let's wrap it up. I don't think the next one will take 1 hour. Even if it does, we are all learning. Okay, so just head over to the other side. I'll end this meeting now. Okay, I will just give like 5 minutes. We'll just give 5 minutes for people. We'll just give 5 minutes for people to join. After 5 minutes, I will start immediately because we don't even have much time. Yeah, someone is raising their hands. You can ask your question.
Sorry, what's the offset for?
Offset, yeah, we'll talk about it, and it's part of the reason why this our paint is outside. So we'll talk about it
Oh,
here. So I think we should just start. Anybody that comes in, let them follow from where we left off. So I was saying that you can see that our intention was to fit, and if you cannot fit this circle inside your canvas, it becomes a problem for you, because what it means is that you are almost like the stupid artist that doesn't know how to paint or where to paint. That's what it means. So in essence, I did not paint this thing well, because if I had painted it well, it would have fitted within this container. So we are going to fix it now. Now how do we fix it? You can see now that we have is it an offset? Okay, we have an offset object, and what this offset object does is that it defines the position of the center of the circle. Okay, it defines the position of the center of the circle. Now offset dot 0 is no different from offset of 0, 0. So when I did offset dot 0, is the same thing as offset 0, 0. The 0, this first 0, anytime you see an object that has 0, 0, this 0 here is always talking about the x axis, and then this other second 0 is talking about the y axis. So 0, 0 is the same thing as saying offset of 0 and 0 on the x and y axis, and that is why our circle, if you look at this shape very well, you will see that our circle is as if this point is the center of this circle. This point here, I mean here now, here, that's what looks like the center of this circle, and we are not wrong, we are correct. It's just that it's not what we expected. Now I will show us something. So back to this our drawing board. Okay, so remember that this is our canvas that we've been provided with, right? This is our canvas that we provided with. Now even if any canvas at all you have, normally 0,0 is assumed. So Flutter canvas starts from here, 0,0. That is this point. I don't know if you can see my cursor, this point here. So this is our 0,0. So it goes like this. So the way the canvas works is that it starts from here and goes down, and then starts from here and goes up. So if you wanted something to be at 10,10, or rather something like 20,10, you want something to be at 20,10, you want something to be at 20,10. So if you 20,10 means 20 down the x-axis and 10 across the y-axis. So 20 will be, you will count 1 2 3 4 5 20. So 20 will be here. Then 10 will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Oh, rather, sorry, I made a mistake. I was switching it. This is our y-axis, right? Oh god. This is our y-axis. This is this is our y-axis, and this is our x-axis. So if you wanted something to be at 20,10, remember that this is our x. Like I said, something comma something is always meant to be x comma y. So this is 20 comma comma y, which is x comma y. That is 20,10. So if I wanted 20, I will count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 17 18 19 20. So 20 will be at this point somewhere here. You can see I started here and I was progressing to the right, which gave me 20. Now for the y, which is 10, y is the horizontal axis. So I'll count 1 2 3 4 5 7 8 9 10. So let's assume that 10 is here. So where that thing will be positioned will be at the point where these two things will meet. So for those of us that did graph in our secondary school, you will see that this is the point where that thing will be. So if I wanted something to be positioned at 20,10, this is the point where it will be. You get? So this is the point where that thing will be positioned, at this point. So it is not like the conventional graph book we have, that our 0 is here, 0,0. I know through our secondary school, this is the normal graph book we know, where the point. So if I wanted 20,10, I'll do 1 2 3 4 18 19 20, and then I'll count 1 to 10 here, and then this will be the point of meeting. This is the normal one we know. But I'm now telling you that in Flutter and in most programming languages, even when I was writing Kiwi and Kiwi, so you will notice that they always start their counting from the top left of the screen. So from now henceforth, if you're thinking custom paint, always know in your head that this is where your counting should start. So it's not like the conventional graph book you know. Okay, I hope that one is clear. So when I say offset 0,0, what it means is that I'm at this point. You know that if this is the point of counting, normally your physics teacher will tell you in school that this is 0,0, right? 0 on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis. So but now we are faced with Flutter, not physics. So it means that this point is our 0,0. So putting an offset of 0,0 is just telling your circle to start its center at 0,0. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? I hope you are responding yes.
Yes, yes, it does.
Yeah,
It does.
perfect. Thank you. So that's why you are seeing this thing positioned at the center. Now, but we already know that this our shape has a height and width of 100. So if I actually want to bring this circle to the center, it's not very simple. I will just do 100, 100, right? I will just say let the offset be 100, 100. You see, it positions it at the center. But this is very, very bad practice. If you know me well, I mean, if you interacted with me before, which I believe most of you have, you will know that I believe so much in good coding practice. So you wouldn't want to be doing this 100, 100 because of screen responsiveness. Okay, someone else may not be using the kind of phone you're using. So if on your phone it will look very fine, you'll be clapping for yourself. But if this particular drawing goes away from your phone and enters another person's device, it will be looking like shit, and that's not what you want for yourself. Okay, so that is why I will not use this 100. I will go and use ahead and use size dot what width over what 2, and then I will remove this const, and then here will also be size dot height over what 2. So what this thing means is that even if my container changes tomorrow and become 500 by 500, okay, maybe 500 is too much, let me make it 400 by 400, you can see it will always fit at the center. But had it been I left this thing as 100 comma 100, when the height and width was 100 200 200, it was looking fine and you are clapping for yourself that you've achieved a feat. So when it now goes to another device that is maybe bigger than your phone, you will now see that you are coding nonsense. I hope I'm making sense. So most times, personally, if I'm painting something, I never use a static dimension. So you can never see any of my painting have something like 20 here. It's not possible. So that is why, going back to the person that asked the first question, this sized object. So that is why they gave us this size object, so that whatever you are calculating will be based off of on the size of the paint that you are given. I hope I make sense. So because we are given a size of 400 by 400, whatever we are trying to paint, we'll use that size. If we want to do percentage, we can do, let it be 2% of the canvas. So if I wanted to draw a line, imagine this is my canvas, and let's just assume that this my canvas is 200 by 200, and I want to draw a line that will start from here like this and end here. Okay, I want to do something like this in my code. This is just what I want to do, which I will still do with code. Now I want to do something like this. You may be wondering, okay, oh, you look at this thing with your eye, it will be looking you like okay, let's use normal this thing. Let's assume that this our canvas is 300 here, and the height here is on let's say 150. Let's just assume that this is 300 and 150. Now if you look at this length, you'll be telling yourself that, okay, oh, it's not up to 150. Let me make it 80. Now as a Spark developer you will now come here and write 80, and it will be fine and you clap for yourself. But what if this code leaves your phone that is 300 here and goes to another phone that is like 200? You will see that the thing will paint and even extend outside your painter, and you now be like that artist that doesn't even know where the starting of his canvas is, when you know what you painted, but because you did not follow correct coding practice, you now see that you are writing nonsense. Okay, so that's why I try as much as possible not to use static. So what I can do is, me now looking at this line, I will say, okay, oh, this thing looks like 70% of the screen width. 70% of the screen width. So if I wanted to draw this line in my code, I will just say I will now draw a line that is 70% of what the screen width, or rather the size that I'm doing, which I'm going to do now. So I'm going to remove this black color that I put here. I only did it so that we will see the background of what we are doing, and actually see that time that our offset was offset.0, that it was not correct. So you can see now this thing is positioned very well. So I'm going to change this thing back to size box, and then I'm going to draw a line. I want to draw a line that will start from this my circle, that will start from here, somewhere here in the middle, and then stretch across to somewhere here. So basically I might have, well, I can still put that size box back, so I'll be seeing this time around. I want to draw a line that will start from here and end somewhere here. 70% of our canvas, that's what I want to do. So what that means is that under here I will do canvas dot draw line. So you on your own, you can explore this canvas. You can explore the canvas. Once you do canvas dot, you're going to see all the things you can do with it. You can clip parts, this, but this time around I want to draw a line. You can see it takes two things. the offset of the line, the two offsets and the paint. So but this time around I don't want to use this red paint. I want to create another paint. I'll call it line paint, because if I use the same paint, all of them will be the same color. So it will be like an artist that wants to draw a human being, and then after drawing the human being and painting the human being black, you will still paint the eyeballs black. So how will somebody know where the eye is? Because the eye normally should be white. So if you use the same paint throughout your application, you will see you have problem. Nobody will know that is even there. So sorry, no, this thing should not be like this. This thing should be line paint is equal to paint. So this time around I'm going to do this. Remember I told you that you can do it in two ways. So I can do line paint dot color is equal to colors dot white. Okay, I can have white so that my line paint will be white, so that you can see the difference on the, or rather let me make it green, so that you differentiate it to the background of the scaffold. So the first point, a line. So line is as simple as it goes. You have a line, you want to draw a line like this, you should know the position of this place and you should know the position of this place. That will just give you a line. So I think it's very simple. So meaning that if I want to draw a line that will stretch from here to 70% of the screen width, I just need to find this position, right? And from what I've explained, if I want to find this center position, the x on the y axis, this is going to be 0, comma. Remember this is 200. This is going to be 0, 100. So if I can get a point of 0, 100, I will be able to get this position. But also remember that I'm not going to use 100 because I don't want to write a spag. So I'm going to use the half of the height of the canvas. So I'm going to have something like this, an offset that will be at 0, size dot height over 2. Good. So perfect. I've gotten where the line will start from. Now I want it to go and extend to 70%. If I wanted it to reach the end of the screen, all I need to do is I will say let it extend to where this is going to be. Remember that this is the complete width. So if this place is 0, then it means that this place on the x-axis is size dot width. Okay, because we have something like this now. We have something like this. I've already told you that here is 0 for the x-axis. If here is 0 and this thing is of length 200, it also means that here is 200. So it means that this point on the x-axis is the entire width of the canvas. So the same explanation goes. This explanation I just made now is just what I will replicate in my code. So it means that I want to have an offset that the x-axis is size dot width. But first off, I want to draw a line that will just be like a, I know sabi mass again. Get what they call them. I want to draw a diameter. Yes, I want to draw a visible diameter. So on the y-axis is still going to be size dot height over 2. So I can copy this size dot height over 2 I have here and then paste it here and clear one line. So if you can see my screen, it may be blur for you, but I can already see the line stretching across. So if I want to make it thicker, I can say stroke line paint dot stroke width. Let me make it something like 10 so that you see it. So you can see that the green line stretch across from this point to this point, which is what we wanted, or rather the second thing we said let's do. But remember I said I want it to be like 70% of the screen. So if I want it to be like 70% of the screen, it means that in my second offset, instead of having size dot width finish, I will just do size dot width times 0.7. So this thing simply means let it occupy 70% of this width. So we know that this thing 70% is the same thing as 70 over 100, and if 70 divided 100, you should be having 0.7. So that's what this thing means. So size dot width times 0.7 is just simply saying 70. Oh yeah, my guy, just take up 70% of the screen width, I mean by your x-axis. Okay, and that's why I have this line from here. Now it's stretched across to this place and stopped. I hope it makes sense. Yeah, it should make sense. Let me increase this because I want to show us something very interesting. So I believe we can see this. So but what if I wanted to have a radius? I wanted to have a line that stopped at exactly the center of the circle. Very simple. I'll just make here what 0.5, which is 50% of the screen, which is also the same thing as saying over 2. So all these things are mathematical manipulations. If you decide to be using over 2, I know that we know that 1 over 2 is the same thing as 0.5. So if you do x times 1 over x times 0.5, you are no different from someone saying x divided by 2, because 1 over 2 is 0.5. I hope we understand. It's just simple something. So if I say let the offset be size dot width over 2, I'm no different than saying let this width be x times 0.5. So that is why this thing is stopping at the center. Now there is another property that they call cap, line page dot cap stroke cap, I believe, is equal to stroke cap dot round. So you will see what this will effect. So did you notice something? You can notice that this our stroke, this our line is now curved. So this is the, so you can just explore all of these things. So once you have a basic understanding of paint, you can explore, you can do things, you can create anything you want. So imagine with this now I'm able to make a clock. I think I once made a clock with this. Let me show us with something like that. So if you look at this, I think somewhere around here. Okay, I think I should just let me scroll here. Perfect. You can see that this clock. So imagine you wanted to create a clock. You're already on your way to creating a clock. So you have your circle, you've drawn your circle, you have your curved line that started from the center and ended at maybe some percentage of the canvas you're given. So using some more logic, you can now begin to make it tick. This is not far from it. So you can create anything you want, so far say you know wetin you dey paint. So back to more complex things, because I said we are going to move from simple to complex. So also I remember in the beginning of this class I painted a triangle like this. So if I want to paint a triangle, the same logic applies. So and now I want you to know that if I move this draw line somewhere here, you will see that it will be behind our circle. So the first thing you draw, the last thing, I don't know how to explain it, but they are stacking up on each other. So this draw circle is showing on top of this. Remember that this black is not part of our paint though. It's like I'll remove it. This black is not part of our paint. It was only there to make you see something. So I drew a line first and then I drew a circle. So you notice that the line is behind. So if I decide to bring it in front, you will see that our line is now in front. Okay, so I hope it makes sense. Now let's draw one more simple shape, a triangle. After triangle, we'll move on to something not so complex, but at least you will see some more interesting things in the custom paint. So we'll just do canvas dot draw I think canvas dot draw line. Yeah, we'll still use the same canvas dot draw line, because if you go through the canvas API, you will see that there is nothing like draw triangle. You wouldn't expect a draw triangle. So we'll use line to draw a triangle on top of this place. And the triangle I want us to draw, I've messed up this place already, but just get me. I want to draw a triangle that will start from here, do like this, stretch here, and come up, finish. The starting point of the triangle is going to be somewhere here. From here it will stretch down to here. From here it will go here, come up. So it's just like I'm stacking them all on top of each other. So I'll remove this roundedness I put here. So I'm going to do a draw line. One thing with draw line is that with a line you can achieve almost anything. So if you follow what I did, this is just simply, if you've understood the logic of drawing a line like this, you can draw a line that will start from here to go here. But now you have a problem. The problem is that you may be wondering, I already told us that our painting started from here, 0, 0. But now we want to draw something that the painting starts from here. What are we going to do? It becomes a problem. But very interestingly, custom painter answers that for us. So what we'll just do is we'll do something like this. So we'll have something like a path. It's not even going to be a line, it's going to be a path. So I will create another variable and I will call it path, and I will call that, it's going to be an object, a path object. So instead of drawing line, I'm going to draw path. Okay, the path, you can see it takes something. What it takes is simply the path object and the paint. So I want to create another paint here again because I want the colors to be different. So I'll call it path paint. And then our time they go, but we'll just try and do something. So I'll paint it yellow. So this one will be our path paint, okay? But then the path will be the path we created. So with this now, we'll draw a path. So I've shown us how to draw a circle. I've shown us how to draw a line. Now I want to show us how to draw a path. So a path is almost basically like a line. We want to draw from here to here. Now if I start drawing a path, let me first draw a path that will look like this. So if this is our canvas, I'll first draw a path that will start like this, go here and come up, just like a right angle triangle, something like this. Then after I do that, I will now show us this one we want to draw, so that we'll understand the basics of path. So first off, we are going to do path dot line 2. It's almost like drawing a line. We want to move. Remember that the path always starts from 0, 0. So we want to move from this 0, 0 down to this point. And remember, from what I've explained so far, this point is going to be our 0, size dot height. Okay, so if I just need to do 0, size dot height, finish. So I've drawn our first line, or rather our first part. Then the next thing, interesting thing with part is that as I've drawn this part from here to here, already our part is here. So if I say from here back to here, what I'm just doing, I'm doing something like this, up and down, up and down. But you know that what we want to do is that I want to draw a part that moves from here down, goes like this, go like this. Someone may visualize it as this. Someone else may see the same problem and say let them go from here to here, come here and go up. It's the same thing. The only thing is how far can your imagination go. So but for now I want to draw this one first, the one that will start from here, go down, go like this and come up. Then maybe on your own you will try to draw the one that will start here, go down, go like this and come up. They will give you the same thing. So I've already drawn the first line, that is the one that goes from up here to down. The next thing I want to do is from this point to this point. So the same part, we'll just do path dot line 2. Where do we want to move? We want to move from this location we are currently at to this place. And from all the explanations I've given, this point is our 200, 200. And that 200, 200 is nothing more than our size dot width, size dot height. So with this now, I've drawn something like this. But you can see already it has appeared. Okay, you can see it here. That shape, this yellow is too somehow. Let me change the yellow to like blue. So you can see the thing is coming out now. But you'll be wondering, we have not even finished drawing and the thing is already coming out. Yes, that is because the part, if you remember the canvas that I explained to you, there is a way you can do canvas. Okay, the explanation to this thought is that part on its own, it covers that whole area from the beginning to where you currently are. So even before we did this line, before we did the second line, there is already a visible part here. We are not seeing it because it is very slim. It is very, very slim. So the moment we do this, we add this line, it will appear because the part on its own is completing that from the starting point. Remember, we are currently at this position. We are currently at this position. So on its own, it has already completed the part. But it's best not to leave it like this. So there are two things we can do. We can do part dot close, which means we want it to close. It's not, there will be no visible difference, but it actually did something. Maybe I cannot explain it, but I know it did something. Nothing visible, but at least you're telling the part that you have closed, you want to close. Closing means let it go and find from where it is, let it go and find the starting point, which is here. It just close itself. Now there is also something else you can do. You can still say part dot line to. Remember that this point is our what? 0, 0, right? So if I do part dot 0, 0, it means I'm returning back to the origin, which is here. There is no visible difference, like I said, but it's always good practice to close a part when you are done. I've not seen anything. It has not like made my code scatter or something, but I believe it's good practice. If you read the docs, you will see it. It's always good practice to close your part. So like I said, this is what I wanted to draw, a part that will move from here to here to here like this, and I've done it. Okay, so with this part you can draw as many anything you want. So the way you see the way I'm moving my hand like this is just like drawing a part. So if I can find the correct, I once used custom paint to draw a very simple car. So I was able to do something like this, create something like this now. I was able to do it in custom paint, and you can, from what I just showed, you can see it's a very simple something. All you need to do is, you know that this is your starting point. You first, if you want to start this way, you first draw a line that moves from here to here, comes down, goes like this, goes like this. You now draw a circle like this, go draw another circle, finish. You have drawn the shape of a car. If you want to add an extra, you can put tire. You know, this is just me playing around with custom paint, so there's nothing serious. But I hope we understand the part, right? We do, right? I know you're saying yes in your background. So the next thing I will do is to tackle the main challenge of drawing a triangle that sits like this. Remember that our triangle did not stress us because we wanted a shape that will start from here. So what if my shape is not going to start from the origin? What if I have my canvas, I want to draw Mona Lisa, and Mona Lisa said it's not starting here, but Mona Lisa there is starting somewhere from here? What do I do? So with this part, you can move a part. Okay, so I'm going to create another part. So I'm going to create another. Let all this my canvas drawing come down, so I'll know the one that is canvas and the one that is. So I'm going to recreate this thing somewhere here, and I'm going to call it part 2. So it's the second part I will create. Part 2. Okay, so I'm going to draw another part that says part 2. Maybe I will comment this one so it's not confused. So this is me drawing part 2. So the part 2 is, for now, is looking like part 1, but what we actually want is that we want this point to start from here, and that is where something very interesting comes in. There is a part dot move. So part dot moves means you don't want this part to start from this place where it initially is. Remember that this point is our size, the width over 2, 0. That's this point, width over 2, 0. So if I move the part to width over 2, 0, I will just simply write in my code size dot width over 2, what, 0. So only this thing alone will make, sorry, this should be part 2. This thing alone, have you seen, somehow is distorted, because let me remove this thing so that you understand. You see that this thing already on its own, it started from here. It has already started from the center, and then the same process, the second line says 0, size dot height, which means from where, after moving it to this point, I now said move down to where, this point, And then the next thing I said, which is this line 76, I said move to this point here. And already normally parts on their own, they will create, like they will cover themselves. I don't know how to explain it. Now if I force this line paint, if I force this line paint to be style, if I force it to be painting style dot fill, am I sure? Wait, oh, sorry, part paint, not line paint. Sorry, it's now getting confusing even for me. Okay, sorry, stroke. Oh my god, I'm just making mistakes. So you can see something. You can see that this is the part we are drawing. I don't want us to get confused, please. So but I will increase this thing more so that we will see the thing. So this is, remember that this is the part 2, the main part we are interested in. So I've already moved from this point to this point, and then I moved from this point to this point. But because I set the painting style to stroke, you can see it did not complete on its own. So the reason why it was completing then is because it was set to fill. Like by default, this painting style is fill. You can see where they say default to painting style dot fill. So that is why it is completing. But like I said before, it's always good practice to close your parts if you're done. I've not seen any UI glitch or anything happen if somebody doesn't do it, but I believe it's good coding practice. So if you read the docs too, you will see where it was stated. So you should always make sure to close the part. So with this now, you can see I've been able to paint like basic shapes that you know. I've painted a circle with this part is the one that gives you limitless things to your imagination, because I can use this part. Now you can see that there was no triangle in the canvas API. There's nothing. You have a draw circle, you have a draw everything, but there's nothing like draw triangle. So but with parts I'm able to draw a triangle, and with parts I can draw anything I want to draw. As far as in a drawing, it just depends on how far your imagination can run. Okay, so you can draw anything possible. I want to demonstrate one more thing to us. Our time is already 8:34, and we have less than 30 minutes before the time goes out. So I'm going to like draw a very one more simple something, and then we are going to take questions. After that, we'll end. After the questions, there's nothing else than to end the class. So I'm going to draw the final thing, and then from there we'll proceed. So for me to demonstrate that, I'm going to have to clear everything. So before I do, I proceed to the next phase, because I believe this next phase is a more advanced paint. So before I proceed, is there anybody that has a question? You can just raise your hand, anything at all. I believe even if I cannot answer itself, I have this thing open here. I have Chrome open, so I can always go and I have chat GPT here too. If he had, I go open chat GPT, we'll answer it together. So I believe there is no question. Okay, yeah, Solace, you can ask your question.
Okay, I just believe that it will be clear when you do the advanced part. When you were talking about drawing that car, and then you got to the wheels, and the wheels are like curved. I can understand using paths to create that car. But then when it gets to that part that is curved, like how do you change that line now
Here,
to a
here,
curve?
you mean here?
And then
You mean here, right?
yes,
Yeah, even
yes.
the next thing I'm going to do is to draw a car. That's the next thing I'm
Okay,
going to do.
okay.
So we are going
I
to
know you were going to get there. That's why.
so we are going to draw this car. I believe if I draw this car, I've not drawn it like practically, but I've just been imagining it in my head. So but if I can draw this car, I think it will explain a lot, a whole lot. So
Okay.
I believe I should be able, let's see if I will be able to round it up before the time ends, because we don't have even up to 30 minutes again. So very simply, we are going to use parts to draw everything in this car. I will not add the tires unless time permits. So it's just going to be very simple. Let me clear the whole I don't know if there is a single command to clear everything, so I'll just use Ctrl Z. So I will have a fresh canvas. So that while we are drawing, will also be, so the car will just be something. I think I like a limo, so I will just draw a limo. I'll curve here. All this curve go hard though, but we go do them if time permits. Be like I don't draw nonsense. Okay, like this. Good. So forget about this thing. This thing, is there a way I can clean? Can I clean? Can I clean? Can I clean? Can I clean? Eraser. Is there an eraser? Okay, there is. So I want to clean off here. So even if I don't finish the thing, you can always try it out yourself. Let me put this thing back. So this is the kind of thing I want to. So this is what I want to draw. So here is curved though. I mean is slanted. I intentionally made it slanted. Who is that? Who is knocking? So let's go. It's going to be very simple and it's going to be very. I believe it will explain a lot. So the first thing is that we're going to initialize our part, and we'll just call it part. If we're going to have this class again, we'll talk about animation, how you'll be able to animate in your custom paint. So but that will be like story for another day. So I've already created my part. The next thing is to say canvas.draw part. So if I'm drawing a part, it just needs a part and a paint, right? So the second thing I will do here is to create a paint, var paint, and it's going to be a paint. So I like color blue, so I will just use color is equal to colors.blue. I'll just prepare whatever I need, and then I like the thickness to be a bit thicker. Stroke width. Stroke width will be, let's say let's make it 10. If it's not fine, we'll change it. Then someone is knocking. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. So first off, let me make this place black so that we can see the canvas we are working with. Okay, so let's also put that canvas around our car. I'll try to, since we are not adding tires for now, we're not adding tires, so I'll try to, so this, no, that one is not fine. Let's see my hand no straight again. Perfect. So I want you guys to imagine that this is our, no need to start making it, designing it. This is our canvas, right? This is the black screen. This is going to be all those black place. Who is that one? So this is going to be the black whatever we have. So we are going to use this instance and start painting our car. So first off, I'm going to start painting from here. So what I will do first is that from what I've explained, I will move. This is our starting point, right? So I'm even going to make this thing. Let me use a much more dynamic. So I will use media query dot size of context dot width. So the width is going to be the width of the screen, but then the height can be, let's make it 200. Let's make it 300 and see. So this now, that's where we'll be painting on. Okay, that's what we'll be painting on. So first off, I'll move to this point and then I'll come down. That's the very first step. So in our paint here, so the first thing will be part dot move. Okay, so I imagine this place to be like 50% of the screen height. So I will say let it move on 0, size dot width, size dot height over 2. That's the first step. Someone is at the door. Okay, so that's the first thing. So we've done the first move, and then let me also do, okay, I've done it already. I've done it. Canvas dot draw part. Good. So the first thing, I've moved to this point. Now I want to come down. I'm sure say time go agree us. I want to come down like this, and then I'm going to just say part dot draw line 2. I want to move down to this point, which is what, 0, size dot height. So 0, size dot height. Okay, that's this point. So if I remove this thing, so I will be seeing our stuff forming. We'll be seeing it forming. Oh, I can leave it, sure. Doesn't matter, it's blue. So I've drawn to this point. Now I want to draw to this point, and then, but I want to draw here, so I wouldn't want to. Let's say that here now is let's say it is like 2% of our screen. 2%, let's make it 2%. So we'll just say from where we are, we'll just say path dot line to size dot width times 0.2, which is 2%, and then size dot what height now, because that's where. So you can see I've drawn here. So the next step is to make it rounded, something like this. Perfect. So that, let's say that this circle, or rather this small circle, let's say that the diameter of this small circle is like, let's say it's like 50. I'll define it. Let's say it's 50. The diameter is 50. That means half of it here will be what? 25, right? 25. That's what it will be. So I'll come here and make a static value. So it's going to be a double. I'll call it rim, tire rim. Tire rim is equal to what? 50.0. Someone is at the door. Tire rim is 50.0. So that is the tire rim, the rim of this tire, the diameter of this tire. So the next thing I want to do is to go something like this. So path gives us that ability. So I'll just say path dot quadratic bezier. So what quadratic bezier does is that, you can see it's very simple. Quadratic bezier is very simple. From where you are, you want to move up. I don't know if you can see this thing I'm scrolling inside here. So you want to draw like a semicircle, and you want that semicircle to extend something like this, right? And then stop here. So what the quadratic bezier will do is that, we're already here. Quadratic bezier, what all you just need to do is define four points, and those 4 points is the x and y axis of this point, and then the x and y axis of where you are going. So x1 y1 is the x1 y1 of this point here. That means this point, and then the x2 y2 is the point here, this one here. So already this is already 20% of the screen width. So we want to go from this place up to this place. 25. Remember we said here is 25. So from where we currently are, which is size dot width over 4. So what we are going to do is that we are going to add the tire rim. We are going to add the tire rim over 2. Does it make sense? Remember that this tire rim is 50, right? This tire rim is 50. Now half of 50 is what? 25. That means if this point come down, you know that this is going to be 25, right? That means the corresponding x axis of this thing is 25. Perfect. Now to get the height of this thing, how high should it be? You already know that this should have been a complete circle, and if it was a complete circle, it would have been 50. But because this is half, so it's going to be what? 25. So this y axis is going to be tire rim over 2. Perfect. And then where are we going? Remember we are going here. This is where we are going, right? This is where we are going. So for us to be going here, this point is what? From here you add like the entire 50. So from where you currently were, if you add 50 again to give you this point, it looks like, are we even together? I'm trying to rush because of time. Are we together?
Okay. Sorry, I didn't raise up my hand. What I'm saying is that immediately you get that quadratic to bezier. At that point in time, it's like it forms another coordinate.
Yeah. No. It doesn't.
That you follow.
No. It doesn't. See,
I don't know whether you get me.
Wait. Let me try and say something. Then you can ask your question. We started off like this, right?
Okay.
This is where we currently are now. So we want to do something like this. This is our main thing we want to do, right? This is the main thing we want to do. We want to have like a small circumference here. And now for us to do this second frame, we cannot just do a straight line. It will not give us this curve. So for us to have this curve, we need this point and this point, right? Now this point here, that means here now where the point of the quadratic bezier is what we just used all this logic for. Size dot width over 2 times 0.2. Remember that this size dot width times 0.2 is still this point, and then we are adding the tire rim over 2. What is tire rim over 2? 50. I mean 25. So 50 over 2 is 25. So it means that from this, just ask yourself now, as we are here now, how do I get the corresponding, I don't know how I will do a dotted line, but imagine that this is a dotted line now that is going down to the x-axis. How will I get the x-axis of this point? The simple answer is from where you currently are, you just need to add what? 25 to where you currently are, and then to give you this place, this distance. I don't know if I make sense. You know we are currently here. If you add 25 to where you are, it will give you the corresponding x-axis of this thing, of this point here. You get? Then for the y-axis, is just simply we are on our own. We said let the tire rim have a diameter of 25. So if you, and if this thing was a full circle and here is 50, then what would this height be? 25. That's exactly what I did here. Tire rim over 2, 25. But that is us getting this first point. How about getting this second point? How do we get? See, anyhow, if you want to put a static value here, let's say you drew this thing on paper. Let's say you drew this thing on paper, and that paper has graph. You know graph now. You know it has line graph, and you feel like you want to get this thing by, since you know the from here to here is 1 centimeter, here to here is 2 centimeter, here to here maybe something like let's say 2.5 centimeter. If you write here 2.5 centimeter, as far as say you know how to get this point, and maybe you read on your graph, this point is something like 3,3. You come in your code and write 3,3. It will give you exactly the same thing. The only thing we are trying to make our canvas much more adaptive to the size, because you know we are given a canvas to draw, so we are trying to make our drawing to be responsive to the size we are given. That's why it's looking like as confusing as this, all this size dot width times 0.2. So anyhow you imagine it to be. Personally, if you want to get this point, this position,
We have 10 minutes. So.
oh my god, okay, no worries. I think after this tutorial,
We are following up. We are following up.
okay, fine. So I will just proceed. 10 minutes. Okay, I will just proceed. So we already at this. Who is that one? We already where are we? We've already gotten here. So we wanted to get this point. So this point is simply from where we were before, you add 50. So from where we are before, you just add 50 to it. You have your x-axis, and then for the y-axis, this place's y-axis is just size dot height. Okay, that's, we've drawn something. I know it's not looking very sharp now, but it will soon look sharp. Then we'll move from here to somewhere else again, and let's still say that this point, this was 0.2, this was 0.2, right? This was 0.2. So let's make it static too. Let's make it 50. We don't have much time, so we'll just do path dot line 2. Where are we going to? We want to move on the x-axis. We want to move from where we currently are, which is this place. We want to move from where we currently are to 50 more, and then for the x-axis we'll just move, we will still maintain the same height where we are. Then the next thing is to stop here at this point. Okay, oh, we have another circle to draw. So we are going to just copy this. We're going to. It's time. I don't know. Should we start a new meeting? Do you think is feasible? And then that will be um our last one. What do you think? I think maybe, can we just have, we have 14 persons. So if you guys can raise your hand, if you think we should have, if you think I should create a meeting link, a new one, just raise your hand. So if I have more than 7 persons, I'll create a new link. Okay, just 2 persons. Okay, fine. That means there is no meeting link. People still dey raise hand. Okay, we have 3. Much people are not cooperating, so we'll just leave it at that. Maybe on my own, I can, after this meeting ends, I will complete this, because I'm going to put it on YouTube, so you can watch the YouTube and complete the listing. Understand? Understand? Mbia. Hello? Sorry, my network went off. My Wi-Fi is low. So I think what's best now is I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to finish this, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. I think that's best, because I think people are tired. So don't worry. If the meeting ends, I'm going to finish up, then upload it to YouTube, and I'll share the link. And I think you can follow up and watch. That's what I'll do. But I'll just continue till the meeting eventually ends. Okay? I think that's like the best thing to do, so that we don't waste much of people's time. Right, so I want to draw something like this. So from this point, I have line to size the width over 2. Okay, I copied something before, I've not pasted it. Okay, right, so size the width over 2. Here, so that will be our x1 here. That will be our x1, and then our y1, still the same tire rim. Here we have size of rim over 2, size of width over 2 plus tire rim. So we'll have this here. We'll have this. Hello? Esther? Mechabekwa m o. M na-abịa. Okay. Alright, so from here we'll move down to this place, and you know that this point, at this point, is size dot width comma size dot height. So I'm going to draw a path dot line to size dot width size dot height. Okay, so from this point, I'm going to go up. Remember, this is still almost the same height as this, so I'm going to have almost the same thing. The only thing is that here will be size the width, right? Size the width over 2. Okay, our car rim is very, very bad. I think the 50 we use is very big, so let's see something like 20. Nope. The rim we use is very, very bad. That's why it's looking like this. So if we had brought our hand down small, it would have been much better. I'll correct it. So already we are somewhere here. So the next thing is to stop somewhere here and then go up, right? I hope we are still here. Okay, yeah. So the next thing is to stop somewhere here before going up, and I believe that here should be like, this point should be like almost the same thing as this 0.2%. So right, I will draw another line, path dot line 2. I'll draw another line the same height, but then this place is going to be path size dot width times 0.8, because if you remove 0.2 from 1, you have 0.8. That is this point. Now I want to move from here up to this place somewhere here, right? So this point now should be the top of our quadratic bezier, which is here. Okay, so I'll have another path dot line 2. The here will be this, and then the height will be what? 0, I believe 0. So you can see our car is taking shape. Our awesome car. So the next thing is to move from here to somewhere here, which is like the top of this rim here. So I will just copy the top of this our rim. Okay, I will copy the top of this our rim. So I will paste it somewhere here. I know we are not following, but I don't know what else to do. Okay, maybe we'll just make this, instead of a car, we'll make it in.
We are following.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yes, yes, we are.
It's just time that is our problem. So let me just complete this instead of making it stop here, because if I make it stop here, you can see wait, let me undo this thing. You can see our car is looking like cartoon. is just the roof is very small. So let me just complete the part and then make it like a lorry or something. So I'm going to do part dot line 2. Part dot line 2. We have 0, 0, right? 0, 0, right? And then
The call is about to end though. Are you creating another link?
the people that voted weren't much. I only saw 3 people vote for new class, so that's why I did not. So I'm, like I said, I'm going to complete it and then I'll push the YouTube link. So if you are still watching the video, you can just follow up on this. So this is like our car, but I'm going to make it much better than this. So instead of having this 0.2, I'll make it 0.4, so that this thing will move up. So anywhere I had 0.2, I'll make it 0.4. Okay, maybe 0.4 is very bad. Anyway, I have 0.4. Let me make it 0.3. Okay, I think it's looking better. It's looking better. Yeah, it is. It's looking better. So then what next? So instead of having this, I can do part dot line 2. I can do size dot this, then 0 here. So and then I will complete it by saying let it come somewhere here, right? So this can be 20% and 20%. So the same thing goes. So it's going to be 0.2 and then size dot height times 0.2. Okay, and then I'm going to round off by completing this line. Alright, so the next thing is just to close. It. Right. Our car is looking looking very bad. So let me make this 0.1 and then 0.03. I think we are done with our painting of the car. It's not looking very nice, but So let me work on this. This is our rim. This rim that is too tall. So the rim, where is the problem coming from? So we said size dot quadratic bezier size dot width over 2 tire rim over, let's make it 3. Okay, tire rim, okay, times 3 times 4 times 5. Okay, the same thing goes here, times 5. Something is amiss. Ah, this is it. I think there are a few things that are missing, but it's something you can try and work on. I've already done the part of introducing the custom paint. So I've already done the part of introducing the custom paint. I don't know if I can make this much better. Okay, I think I also need to work on the height on the tire rim. Can we make this tire rim something bigger, like 100? Okay, I think we can. The only thing is that I need to just adjust a few things, and then we are good to go. So this one has been gotten. Then line 2, we stopped here. Size dot plus size dot width plus tire rim quadratic bezier size dot width plus 50. Then the height is tire rim times 2 tire width times 2, then size dot width times 0.3 plus 50 plus tire rim, then size dot height no it's going to be size dot plus size dot rim plus tire rim. This is taking much time, but I'm just trying to figure it so that this other one will also look nice. That's just where I'm trying to figure out, and after that I think we are done. Size dot width times 0.2. Okay, so at this point I'm at size dot plus tire rim plus 50. That is this line. Okay, let me make it 70 and confirm. Yeah, that's it. So it's this line. Then so quadratic bezier from this line. Oh, I think I've seen it. Plus another tire rim over 2. Perfect. So it makes sense now, even though the tire is not proper. So to clean it up, I just need to remove this. So that's it. But I think I can do a much better job. I will bring these tires back. So line 2, I'll make this time 0.2, and then make this 0. So anywhere there is 0.2, Control F, I'll just make it 0.2. Perfect. So our car is looking very nice. So I think this is the end of it. I'm going to stop here, and then I will upload. Thank you guys, and I'm sorry for the delays in the Google link or something. So that's it. Perfect. I will save and I'll push to GitHub. Thank you guys.